I guess we'll just start with, who are you?
My name's Jonathan.
Okay, I am Brian Eckler.
My name is Christine Puskar.
So my name's David Fix.
My name is Daniel Robert Niebling.
I'm Eliza.
My name's Misa Hussein.
Hi, my name's Mitchell Black.
Alright, my name is Isabella. Next question.
Okay.
Okay, you gotta restart. Alright, my name is Isabella Sophia Maria Church.
That's hilarious.
I go by is mozzarella, Grizabella. That's a new one.
Gross. That
Grizzle.
sounds disgusting. Like, I can't talk.
Gizabella Mozzarella 6969 at my Finsta.
What's the next question? Yeah.
What do you do?
Masturbate.
I go to Bard College. I'm planning on majoring in writing and literature.
I don't do anything right now because I had surgery 2 months ago, and I had surgery twice in the last 2 months because the first surgery didn't work. And I'm currently deaf, waiting for my hearing to come back, and I am waiting to recover because I just had surgery for the last time 4 weeks ago. So it's many more weeks until I am able to go back to work.
I go to University of New Paltz. I study early childhood education, concentration English. Yeah.
The past 4 years, I've currently been a full-time plumber.
I'm currently going to a community college in New York.
I am a student at the Savannah College of Art and Design in Georgia. I study interior design.
I am currently a student at Bowdoin College in Maine. I'm a sophomore there.
So you go to a pretty academically competitive college.
Yeah, and I think
Do you want to let her out?
is it going?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it is very academic. Everyone is, in general, pretty intelligent, pretty serious about their schoolwork, and that has some both positive and negative aspects, I guess. I definitely feel like I'm learning a lot, like more from other students than I am professors, and that's a good resource to have, but it's also a lot of the time how I guess some people are competitive, but even just the fact that everyone is also just really into schoolwork, it makes it hard for me sometimes to prioritize other things other than like getting A's, because that's what everyone else is doing, and I think I still have like a competitive side in me from high school.
So you had a hard time finding friends in high school?
Yeah, I guess I had friends in high school, but mostly just because they were the same friends that I had when I was in like kindergarten through, since it was all one school. So I had friends, but I didn't necessarily have people who I really connected with or felt comfortable with, I guess. There are always people for me to hang out with, but I found myself, especially as I got older and older, just like isolating myself from most of my friend group.
Well, for a long time, for my first 2 years, really, I was like in a very serious relationship, and I kind of like blocked a lot of my girlfriends out. Like, I didn't really have many like super close girlfriends because I was really like infatuated with the person I was with, and it was not healthy, and I was like really focused on that person. So it really wasn't until I had like nothing, and I was really like in a really bad place, and my boyfriend at the time and I like broke up, and I just like felt like I literally didn't have like anyone. Like I felt like I like would go into like my school and like everybody knew me as that person's girlfriend, not as myself. Like I really didn't feel like I had like a really strong identity, and like I felt like a lot of my college experience was like kind of like wasted. But it wasn't until like that happened where I like really like started talking to my friends more and started learning more about them and focusing more on hanging out with them and spending all my time with them. And now it's like I like can't go a day without like talking to my best friends.
Can you tell me about your family?
I'm the youngest of 3 children. I have an older sister that's 2 years older than me, and I have an older brother that's 10 years older than me. I have a mom and a dad. They're together. They're pretty old, not really, but they're in their 50s.
What's it like being the youngest sibling?
You get away with a lot of stuff. You know,
What?
you know what you can do, and you can like kind of push. Like you can like say, I don't know, because like my older siblings would be like, "Can I do this?" And they'd be like, "No," and then they don't really care with the younger sibling. They're like, "Oh, whatever, just do what you want."
What's something that changed your life?
Probably my grandpa when he got cancer and he like moved into our house, and like watching him like die. I don't mean to laugh,
Oh my God.
but it's like I don't know how to explain it. I mean, that's kind of like what happened, because like he moved in February and then like he died in March, and he from February to March you can just see his like condition like going down, like less responsive and like less there. It was just like really hard to like witness and like watch. You know, like changed my life.
My Grammy, my mom's mom. Definitely shaped me in a lot of ways. I think through when she was in my life and after her death, that even continued to make me who I am. Her absence and her presence. When she was in the hospital, I went to go see her every single day, and just seeing the cancer take over her body and like her essentially lose her mind and not remember who I was and not remember who my mom was and be so confused and so not herself was really terrifying. But also when she came home pretty much for her last month to live and was on hospice, and the doctors knew she was going to die, and that was really hard too, because at some point she felt almost normal. So when she died, it was like a big change, and I think that also influenced a lot about who I am today, learning to deal with that and not have her there and having to think, would she be proud of what I'm doing? Would she support this decision that I'm making? Kind of having that thought process in my mind whenever I would make a big decision, shaped where I am today.
Yeah.
Were you close with him?
Yeah, I was very close. It'd be like, before I like started like working over the summer, it'd just be like me and him hanging out, doing stuff at his house. Yard work or like going somewhere. Yeah. Taught me a lot.
Like what?
You know, like
How to be a man?
yeah, like I know that's like, oh my gosh, a man. But it's like, yeah, you taught me like how to like respect people and how to do things for yourself. Yeah, it was tough.
Right now, the only thing I'm worried about is waiting on is my hearing coming back, because right now it's possibly temporary and not permanent. So in about 8 weeks or so or less, I could possibly regain my hearing because of surgery. There's swelling and some damage that happens in there and blood pooling. So you can lose your hearing temporary, or it can be permanent because operating in the inner ear, just opening it up can cause permanent hearing loss. So right now I'm just waiting on the hearing to come back. If it comes back, I'll do surgery on my other ear, which has all the same problems as the first ear, and all those problems were symptoms of superior semicircular canal dehiscence, which is just a hole in the inner ear bone, which causes a bunch of dizziness issues that are caused from sound. So if someone claps or if there's really loud noise, I get dizzy and my eyes jump and stuff. And I have that still in my right ear. So if my hearing comes back in the left ear, I'll fix my right ear, and then I'll try to join the military and move on with my life and just pick up right where I left off. But if my hearing doesn't come back, then I have to decide whether I'm willing to risk a second surgery to fix my other ear. And if I do that, I'm risking going deaf totally, but I have the opportunity to get rid of all my symptoms, which is almost worth it because the symptoms are extremely annoying. When I hear my eyes move when I'm looking around, I hear my heartbeat. I can't be in loud crowds because my eyes bounce. So even though there's maybe less than a 10% risk of going deaf, it might be worth taking that risk just so I can get back to my normal life. So it all depends if my hearing comes back.
Do you want to show your scar to the camera? Or?
Sure. There's probably not a lot to see because my hair is growing in.
Yeah. Wow, yeah, that's healing pretty well.
Yeah, so I mean it's healing really well, especially because it was cut open twice. It's not just one time. But my hair is also growing over it, so it really doesn't look bad now. But 4 weeks ago, it looked really, really bad. Especially because there's no hair there and the stitches were in and all that stuff. There's still dried blood on it, so I mean, yeah, it looks fine. I'm not worried about it.
Do you think this brush with deafness has changed who you are right now?
I've thought about that a lot, and it's only happened for about 2 months, my deafness, so it's kind of hard to say. But I think about it all the time. If I get my hearing back, is it going to make a huge change? And I think either way, it's a life-changing experience. If my hearing comes back, I'm going to be incredibly more appreciative, if that's even a word, of everything, of having my hearing back, of being able to work again, of having a second chance, and still be able to do the things and the dreams and goals that I've always wanted to, because I'll get a second chance, so it'll definitely change. And if it doesn't come back, it's going to change my life, obviously, because I'm never going to get my hearing back for the rest of my life. But not to get all philosophical, but it's kind of nice sometimes having really shitty moments in your life, so that, because it's usually always followed by something better, because this is the lowest I've ever been in my life right now. So even though it may not seem like it, so you're not gonna have good days unless you have bad days, so there's still some good to come from it, I'm sure.
Do you think that your childhood ended?
Yeah, I do. I think my childhood ended when I graduated college and started working full time. It went from being, that was one thing about going to community college that differed from going to a 4-year college with my friends, is, you'd still, I got done with college, or even when I was going to college, I was still working the other half of the time. And when it became, I have to go to work in the morning and I have to work to pay my bills, I felt like childhood ended. Even though I still live at home, I really don't have a lot of bills. I don't have that same, I'm going to go party with my friends every night or go out to the bar, or I just felt like I have more responsibility.
I think that my childhood just kind of developed into, things that I'm passionate about. like traveling. I'd love to travel. I'd love to go on vacation. And that's kind of when my childhood comes out. Like, I love to do adventurous things. Like, I was always an adventurous kid. So it just kind of developed into something else. I wouldn't say, like, it's dead, but I think it's just grown up too. But I do have some things that I do that I consider kind of childish.
What about an original song?
Yeah, go for it.
Let's see. It's only 10 seconds. How long does it have to be?
What do you think your biggest insecurity or insecurities are?
So I like, this is always something that has been like a big thing for me, and I like have always put like so much pressure on myself to like make other people happy that it like innately like makes me happy, but that's like not a good thing. And so like I have a really hard time saying no to like anything, and it's just like puts me in really like uncomfortable positions. And like back to like the happy thing, so that was like part of like my relationship. That's why I had such like a difficult time in there, because like I wasn't happy, and I thought the reason I wasn't happy is because I thought my partner wasn't happy, so I kept trying to make them happy, and still like wasn't making me happy. Like I had just like I felt like I had no control over anything, and like no matter what I did, like I was still like making somebody upset. And like even like when I was younger, like I would just like always try to make everybody happy, but like when it wasn't making somebody happy, like I would try to like sneak around it or like be sneaky about it, like to not make them upset that I was doing something wrong. I don't know, like so innately got me in more trouble. I don't know. That's always been like something that I put so much pressure on myself for. Like I just like can't say like no.
I want to succeed in life. I mean, family and friends is important, but I really want to succeed. I don't want to be like a failure. I don't want to, I don't want to live up to the stereotype of, I stayed in the hometown and turned into, just like another one of those people in hometown.
I just like don't like disappointing people. It's just part of my nature. I like really like it makes me really upset. Like I don't think I've ever had like actually like a serious relation with somebody, like ship with somebody that hasn't been like someone doing something for like me ever.
I felt like you gotta do what you gotta do to make sure the people that you love are okay. And I still feel that way.
Wasn't really into the college scene and going out to parties and stuff, and I felt really forced to go out all the time, and I just wasn't connecting with people, so I decided to not go there anymore, and I went to community college, and then I'm at New Paltz. Yeah, so I think it was good for me to go home and transition to college like easier by going to community college and living at home still, but I'm happy at New Paltz right now.
Has your family influenced you in what you want to do?
Yeah, actually. So I was supposed to be an accountant. Like my grandma was an accountant, my mom was an accountant. So like I was supposed to do that. So, but I don't know. I just was never good at it. It just wasn't fun to me. I think it's kind of boring. No offense to accounting people, but my mom, she is really into interior design, So she kind of influenced me to try that out. And so I was like, okay, like I'll go to school for it. And it turns out that I really liked it. I thought it was very interesting. It's a lot more than what people think it is. So it's fun to tell people about that.
I really like cartoons. A lot. I really love watching cartoons. Like, so much. It's kind of embarrassing. I've always been kind of embarrassed of it, but whatever. I love them.
I think play with my cat. That's probably my favorite thing. I'm a big cat person. So, that's my favorite thing.
I love to gamble. Love hanging out with friends. Like, I've always hung out with friends my whole life up until around this point because everyone's kind of doing their own thing. But I still just love hanging out with people. Just being social. Like going out, drinking sometimes. I like any extreme sport, like skydiving, wakeboarding, biking, any of that stuff. I like anything that gives me a slight adrenaline rush. I like, and I think that's kind of because I've had ADD, I'm pretty sure, my whole life, and I think that like getting that adrenaline gets the dopamine going, and I can actually focus on being good at something, because that doesn't work when I play ball sports like soccer or basketball or anything like that. I just suck at those.
The biggest lesson I've learned. I don't know, I think just believing in myself. That sounds really cliche.
What's your favorite Lego set?
My favorite Lego set? Like one that I personally had, or that I haven't had?
Either. How about both?
One that I haven't had is totally the Lego Death Star. I've always wanted that. I always thought that was cool. One that I've had... probably the I had this like robot Lego, like a Technic set, I guess. Like they were back in the day, they're like robot. You can buy like robots out of Legos.
Like Bionicles?
Not like Bionicles. Bionicles were cool, but they were Lego Technics. I'm pretty sure.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, that was probably my favorite because you could like it was like remote control.
Why do you think there's such a negative connotation that goes along with being a millennial from older generations?
I think older generations are more traditional. They have, traditional views on everything, and they kind of want to stick to what they know. And then we have all this new technology coming out and this new way of thinking. Like, people are into health, people are into the environment, and they weren't before because they weren't issues. So I think that millennials, they probably focus more on like that and kind of pushing for the future. And some millennials are definitely into like social media and stuff. Like, there's new jobs coming out that the older generations never heard of, like new apps, and I think that people like kind of look down on it because we kind of revolve around that now. So that's probably like another reason why the older generation probably thinks that, because we're always on our phone and not doing things that they were used to doing, But I think that they're actually, technology is kind of like the new religion in our world.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own little rituals and stuff, so it's like it's this new thing. It's just this new thing that has taken over. So especially in our generation.
I think because a lot of kids now, and probably because I work with a lot of old people. I don't spend a lot of time with young people. I probably am gonna side with the older generation. All my peers suck for the most part. There's only a handful that don't. No one knows how to talk to each other. Can't communicate. No one has that personal connection anymore. you go out to eat to dinner, like tonight, me and my girlfriend went out. And I look around, and even older couples, but especially younger couples, there's this boyfriend and girlfriend, and the one dude's like, he's sitting there eating his food, trying to talk with his girlfriend. His girlfriend's sitting on their own phone, sitting there playing with herself. The whole generation is just disconnected from reality. Don't know what it's like to work hard with their hands. Don't know what it's like to make their own money and go out there. Everything's just given to them. I don't know. Come try to work hard for something, and then get down and dirty. Everyone's disgusted with stuff. Everyone's a bunch of pussies. I mean, there's no men. Everyone gets offended when whatever you say something to someone and someone gets offended. Why are you getting offended? I'm not trying to offend you. If you're cracking a joke, someone gets offended by it. And I think that's where the disconnection comes from. The older generation and the younger generation. You used to be able to speak your mind, and someone would either agree with you and go, yeah, I really think that was a good point. Or someone would go, man, you fucking asshole, that was terrible. Why? I don't think that's right. I think this is how it is. But instead now, they just go, oh, I can't believe you said that. And they'll call you a racist. They'll call you, they'll call you stupid. They'll just, even if they don't, if they disagree with you in any way, they call you any slang they can think of. But I don't know. It is what it is, I guess.
I think it's because we challenge the status quo. I think every other generation before us, I mean, not like every generation, obviously there are exceptions, otherwise we would never have progressed and made any sort of change, but I think a lot of generations kind of maybe didn't challenge older generations as quite outright as we do. I think there's kind of like that respect for your like elders thing. There's a lack of that in our generation, which isn't a good thing, but also isn't necessarily a bad thing, because we're able to make more change and like have our voices heard that way. But I definitely think that's why there's such a negative connotation with us, is that we go for it, and we really push it and push boundaries and push their buttons, older people's buttons, to get what we want, which I think is cool, that we're willing to kind of stand up for ourselves and what we believe in, and we're not just going to let people who are older than us tell us what's what.